Welcome back to March or Die. I am the Stress Master.
And I am the very injured, very delicate, and a very sensitive tumor at the moment. It was my work's Christmas party last night in Manchester, and I'm not much of a drinker, but I made my best attempt at it last night.
That's what happens when you get older. Tolerances change.
Lots of sugary Coke today.
There you go. Well, welcome to everybody to our podcast. This is episode number 6. If you have not watched the previous episodes, I'm going to put them up in the corner so you can go back and watch those first, and then you'll eventually end up back here to this one. But thank you all for joining us. We have a lot to get to in this episode. We don't have a lot of news, but we do have some things we wanted to share. We have a show reveal, one with an actual video, so we're actually going to watch it. And then we are going to be talking about Robert W. Smith and his impact on the drum corps activity. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and try to share and get all this set up here, so you might see a cut here, everybody. All right, so what we're going to be watching first is Madison Scouts 2024 show reveal. They're talking about the repertoire. I've not seen this. I made sure I did not watch this at all in any way, shape, or form, so I'd have a true reaction. Same for you. You haven't seen this either.
No, and when you mentioned we were going to do this, I went to look, then I said, no, I'm not going to look. I'm going to be genuinely surprised. So the reaction you'll get from me will be my genuine reaction.
Perfect.
Hopefully I like it.
Yeah, hopefully. Here we go. Okay, I'm getting some Aladdin vibes. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. I'm feeling pretty good. Let me switch this back here. Okay, I feel pretty good about that.
I could probably do without the Sam Smith bit. I'm not a big Sam Smith fan, but I also recall Mandarins did a bit of Sam Smith in their show last year, and I can see how that particular melody would translate into the show. The thing I'm most impressed about was, well, first off, White Rabbit. Absolutely love that song. 2 minutes, about 2.5 minutes of some of the best music in rock and roll history. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch the Jefferson Starship video on YouTube from Woodstock of them doing it. It's unbelievable. And the guitar player, I know he's a legend, but he was high as a kite as well.
They were all high as a kite back then, dude. That's how they played their best stuff, man.
Seriously, though, go watch this, man. This guy is not at that concert. But I look at White Rabbit, and I think White Rabbit would be a great show, or just that whole Alice in Wonderland thing, which I believe Cadets did back in the early 2000s. I think that could be explored as an entire show. The thing that I think I'm most impressed about that, though, is some of the Asian-inspired, Indian bits in there.
Yeah.
Blue Devils did some of the traditional Indian hand drumming in their show a few years ago. And living in the UK as I do, we have a very large Asian and Indian, Punjabi population here. That, in fact, last night when I mentioned we were out on our Christmas party, it was actually went to an Indian restaurant last night. It was amazing. But some of the music and stuff that comes out of that part of the world, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, if you haven't listened to it, man, you should seriously treat yourself. If you're a fan of music, then if it's not something you've really delved into, you absolutely should.
Well, and it has such a good vibe to it too, like a really good like motion to it. So I think that's why it's going to work well for them, because they can do all kinds of color and spectacle with it and kind of create this mystical world. So I'm really hoping they do kind of more of that, where it's more of this like ethereal like world that you're watching. It doesn't have to be a show, you know what I mean? Like a so-and-so went here, and this is how the storyline goes. It could just be this cool world and feel, yeah. I think if they do that...
And listen, I'm going to say something right now. If you're one of these people that is harping on about Madison adding girls, just switch off. Go find something else to watch, because I'm not interested. You know what? It's done. It is what it is, okay?
Yep, at this point.
Get over it, okay? And what I hope is that the Madison Scouts just come out with a kick-ass drum corps.
Yeah,
I really do. I hope they get, let's get all this other BS behind us. And you know what? Musically, they've got a great platform to work with there. You know what? And it doesn't matter what plumbing the players have. Let's just crack on and have a great drum corps show.
Exactly. I mean, let's look at this. How many center snares are female?
Quite a few. There was quite a few this year.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know her name, but that girl from Pacific Crest was an absolute monster.
I mean, let's even look at Cadets. They've always been co-ed, and they've had some amazing players that were female and male. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Gender, I think, is just becoming too much of a thing. I mean, I know it's because it's Madison's identity, but come on.
But you know what? The scouting organizations worldwide have been gender neutral for about a decade. I marched in the Kids Grove Scouts, and we actually did come out of these Scouts organizations. Does that make us any less of a Scout because we had girls? Nah.
Yeah. Okay, we were talking about the Troopers, but I really, like you said, we were talking about the direction they're going. This is a 3-part series that they're doing, and this is one's called Dance with the Devil, is their newest one, their newest show, and I think it's gonna be cool. I really like the dark. It's really dark. It's really kind of like brimstone and fire kind of a thing. So I'm really excited the direction they're going with it, because like you said, they're a more badass version of the Troopers, kind of a more, and I still think their 2022 show, I love that show. I think 2023 was good, don't get me wrong. I think they were really good, but I'm hoping this show will kind of tie the trilogy together. Kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd like to see him go towards, though? I mean, obviously, you can only play on the, the badass cowboy western theme so much before it starts to get a little bit tired, and I don't think we're quite there yet. But
no,
I'd love to see them go down the realm of maybe exploring some of the spaghetti western genres. If Troopers are going to be, if their identity is going to be Western, which is cool, I'm down with that. But when you look into like some of the the Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western movies, there's some great music in there and some great visuals that you can use, or maybe even some of the Quentin Tarantino stuff. He's delved into Western culture as well. Being a little bit open-minded here, if we're going down the Western culture, let's maybe look at some of the Mexican influence into Western culture as well. Maybe banda isn't quite ready for. Maybe the drum corps world isn't quite ready for full-on banda, but there's some of that music I think would translate well as well. So I'm really looking forward to hearing, though. I'm pointing this way because I'm seeing it on a screen over here. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the music is with this and what the visual look is as well. Somebody said in the Drum Corps Planet forums that apparently we got a teaser of the uniform in the white uniform in the last year's show. Huh. Looking at this imagery here, I can't in a million years imagine that, except for maybe as a reveal at the end of the show, or if they were just completely wrong. But no, yeah, I'm looking forward to finding more. I love everything they've been doing over the last few years. I think I've really started getting into Troopers since I think it was 2013, was it, when they did the Hero show?
Yeah, I think so. And what was the year they did like the Wild Horses? Was it Wild Horses?
Yeah, that was cool as well.
And they had like they had the fences. Am I thinking of the right show where they had like the fences and they moved around?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a cool show. That was a beautiful show.
That was a cool show.
Yeah.
Those uniforms, those white or the cream uniforms, though. Ugh.
Yeah.
Those were awful.
I mean, I would love nothing more that they came out with that big old jacket that they show in the visual, like all the way down to their knees, just like the buckle and that shirt. That would look tight if like everybody's moving and then as they turn around, all you see is the jacket, and then they turn around and there's color pop or something. Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
Looking at this imagery here, I like the imagery. Now, yes. I don't think that would translate onto the drum corps field from a visual perspective. No, all the colors would be washed out.
Yeah, they'd have to have some color, like in the shirt and the buckle and the pants. But the jacket could be a black or something. When they turn around, you get two. It's kind of like what DK used to do with the red and the white. When they'd flip around, you get the color pop.
Speaking of that, I mean, do you remember the first time we saw them in '92? I think we all pissed ourselves laughing, go, look at how ridiculous they look up close. But my god, they use that so well in the show.
Yeah, that visual color change was crazy. Kind of like 85 Freelancers.
That was pretty rough.
Right.
It was an interesting idea in an era where
it was an experiment.
Yeah, it was an experimental era. We'll leave it at that.
The concept was cool. The way the uniforms were made were crap, apparently. So
yeah, concept was cool. The execution was terrible.
All right, so let's get to your stuff because I want to make sure we have enough time.
Okay, so as many in the activity are aware, we lost the legend of the activity this year in Robert W. Smith, and so Justin and I have been talking. We felt that it's something we should talk about on the podcast here. So I've gone away and I started doing a bit of research to see, hey, what all is... It's a name I heard. I didn't realize just how much of an impact this one man had on the activity. So this is... what you're looking at here is the Drum Corps, or the DCX Museum website. And we can see that his first credited appearance in our world of Drum Corps was with Justin and I's alma mater, the Sacramento Freelancers, who in 1980 played a piece of his called Odyssey. As you can then see, moved forward. He spent a lot of years with Suncoast Sound until they finally finished up, and then went on to Magic of Orlando.
Can you scroll up a little bit because you're covering the lower part? I'm sorry, scroll down. My bad.
All right.
Perfect. So we can actually see Magic here.
All right, so yes, and they went on to Magic of Orlando. He's one of the founders of Magic of Orlando. He was there when they made finals for the first time in 1994. And I'm not going to read the list, for forever because it goes on for 5 full pages, and you just look at some of the corps that he's influenced: the Blue Stars, Allegiance Elite, Juliana in the Netherlands. Southern Aurora in the UK. He also had a lot of impact into the now all age class, formerly Drum Corps Associates, Reading Buccaneers. I know White Sabres did a lot of stuff of his as well. It's just the impact that he had on the activity, and not just in the Drum Corps activity, but in the concert band activity, into the school music scenes, and the music that he wrote specifically for things like elementary school up through university concert bands. It's just an incomprehensible loss, really.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's going to annoy me. Okay, now we're good. Because what happens sometimes is once it goes onto the television screens, it like truncates us if I put us in the corners. So I want to make sure you're away from the corner. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
So
that's a long list.
It's a long list. It's a long list. Now,
Troopers, look at that. Troopers, 17 and 18.
17 and 18. So, in fact, he was also there in 13, which was I just mentioned the 2013 show. He was actually the guy. There's a video on YouTube of him talking about the Troopers 2013 show, which I believe was called Hero. And it was actually Robert W. Smith's idea to do the voiceover in that show. And the voiceover in that show, and I know some people don't like voice, get over it. But the voiceover in that show is every single voice you hear is actually members of the Corps talking about the people that were their heroes. It's just a really cool guy. Wrote some great music. So I'm not sure how this is going to work here, Justin, but I do have a little bit queued up. I don't think we really need to watch the entire shows, but we can certainly react a little bit here.
Sure, let's do it.
So a little bit of 1980 Freelancers. This is Odyssey. I'll go ahead and press play on this one. Are you getting the audio there?
No. Did you share audio when you first started sharing?
No. How do I share audio?
All right, go ahead and stop sharing. And then as soon as the window comes up, there's a little. As soon as you say share video and it asks you what you want to share, at the very bottom there's a checkbox that says share sound.
Share sound. I see it there, right?
Yeah, okay. It's so lame, so tiny.
It's all right. We'll try it again.
All right, that's okay. We'll give it 3, 2, 1.
I'll play it first. Make sure the audio works. Then I'll rewind it back and we'll do a 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Sounds good.
Are you getting the audio then?
I am, but can it be higher, louder? Okay. And I can always just get the audio and replace it if we need to, but it sounds pretty good. All right.
Is that good? Too loud?
No, you can crank it. Crank it all the way.
Okay.
Now I can't hear you. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay. So, just go back here. I'm not going to play the whole thing anyway.
That's fine.
So 3, 2, 1. So I'm just going to play a few seconds here of this, which is the 1980 Freelancers playing Odyssey, which is Robert W. Smith's first credit on Drum Corps X or DCX Museum.
I like it.
I can see Don Silva right now. Cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah. Ooh,
tight.
Nice roll there. I'm so glad for high def recording now.
But the thing is about that, though, is that I listen to that, and I can hear a lot of his... I didn't realize it until I heard that, but I could hear a lot of his influence in John Zimney's later arrangements. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that influence, especially in the 1985 show from the Freelancers. So that's the Freelancers. And then... just give me 1 second here.
No problem.
This here for a second so I can... And then, of course, there's the thing that Robert W. Smith is probably the most famous for, which is Suncoast Sound, 1985.
All right, so we're going to watch 85 Suncoast Sound. I love this opening. It's big. It's gutsy. It's just full of power. Here we go. Hopefully it's nice and loud.
I love the whole show. Now, what's interesting is that 5 years or 4 years later, they did it again in '89.
Yes,
and it sounds the same. It sounds the same, but it sounds completely different. Whereas '85 is a lot more smooth and laid back, and really has that Florida vibe, doesn't it? '89 ripped your face off.
Yeah, that was awesome, though. All right, here we go.
What a great drum corps Suncoast was.
Yeah, they were different, that's for sure. All right, so let's do this. Let's watch the '89.
Yeah, they'd be interested in comparing back to back.
All right, okay. For S's and G's, we're gonna watch '89 version now. This is the version I saw and you saw at '89 DCI finals. And
it's the version of Suncoast Sound that nobody saw coming that year. Because when they started that year, they were being beaten by Florida Wave by nearly 8 points.
Yeah, and in semifinals, we actually looked at the recaps. They got third in brass.
Third in brass GE.
Yeah, brass GE, which was what projected them into finals, and they actually beat us.
Beat a lot of people. They beat 9 other corps, didn't they?
Yeah, and then in finals, they placed 9th, I think, right?
Yeah,
and they beat us.
I think they broke 90 as well, didn't they?
Yeah. All right, here let's listen to the difference. Here we go. I actually like this version better than '85.
I do as well. So yeah, I mean, it still has that Florida vibe.
Yeah.
But it's just so different.
They're pretty darn good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought visually, though, was their strong point.
No, but you know what though? I mean, musically, I think yeah. I mean, they did get. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. They got a gift to get into finals, which is okay. But I mean, they beat Blue Devils. They beat. They beat a lot of corps to get into finals that year in GE Brass, which was kind of insane. But that's okay. All right, so let's move on to the next one.
And I do think they deserve to make finals that year. Don't get me wrong, but it's like somebody said. It was like somebody somewhere said Suncoast Sound must make finals and just get them there, however, come what may, you know? The thing that I would point out before we press play, the thing that I would point out about this, though, is this is a different drum corps, okay? Yes, it's another Florida drum corps, but they didn't harp on the whole being from Florida thing like Suncoast really did. But when you hear the music, it's very, very, very obvious who's writing the music.
All right, let's take a listen. And visual.
Oh, I thought their visual look was so cool, Magic.
Yeah, they did some really inventive things. All right, cool.
So for those who don't know, that show is Cirque du Soleil.
Cool. What did they place this year?
They placed 11th.
11th, okay. That's
But
respectable.
it was really weird though, because the scores that year were really, really, really low. They were 11th with like an 81.
Yeah, so it was yeah, well, it's weird because some years like the scores are really high, like going all the way. Like I think last year scores were pretty high, going down into the 10th place realm.
I think
or
that's
was it last year?
No, it's kind of been the case that now for probably about the last decade that I think you can really, throw in 90 anywhere down to about 10th place. Like I said, that particular show for Magic was an 81.25. When I was doing a little bit of research as well, when I was looking at 89 Suncoast, it was, again, back in those days, those scores were so weird because Suncoast had, if you look on the scores archives, on the 2nd of July, Suncoast scored like a 52, I think it was, something like that. And then on the 3rd of July, they scored a 61.
That happened to us, though, too, remember? Because we would score like...
They just jumped 6-7 points for nothing.
And then the next night, we were down 10. It's like... Yeah. I don't get it. But it's just the way it was, because you'd see different judges, different opinions.
But the thing is, you remember back then, though, the judges kind of traveled with the cores as well, so it was probably the same damn judges, just judged them completely different the next night.
Yeah. A lot of that didn't make sense to me, but it is what it is.
Anyway, yeah. But yeah, rest in peace, Robert W. Smith. An incredible loss, not just to our activity, but just to the music world in general, I'd say.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to transition. I'm going to play for you a show that's really Christmas. I mean, this if this was a Christmas show, this is it. All right, so we're going to try to record this now. This is my 4th attempt trying to get this recorded. This is Cadets 12.25. If there's ever a Christmas show, this is it. This is to me, this is what you would think Christmas would be on a drum corps field. But I do have another show coming next week where I'm going to, a gift for Kanan here of some goodness, some amazing goodness of drum corps and Christmas. It's Christmas, but you'll see it.
I can't imagine anything more Christmassy than this show. So
yeah, and I'm gonna be putting up here in the corner. I did last year, about a year ago. I put up a compilation of Christmas drum corps, so you guys are gonna be seeing that up in the corner here. But let's enjoy this
somewhere.
Yep, yeah, it's up there somewhere. I have not seen this show in a while, since last year, actually, when I put the compilation video. So this is actually on the compilation video. It's only on the compilation. It's just a small portion. We're going to watch the whole show here. All right, here we go.
'Twas the night before Christmas. All through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
Love the white uniforms or the cream uniforms.
Yeah. it creates a really good color contrast with the guard, with the purples and yellows and golds and oranges. Look at all those colors.
It's amazing. Just visually as well, the stuff that they're doing with their bodies, the shakos, with the plumes. Shout out to the guard there doing all of that work with no timing on the field at all.
No, they're famous for that though. Look at that drill.
Was pretty complex. That was some pretty complex work though.
Yeah.
Please come back, cadets. We need you.
Yes, please come back. Look at that visual morph.
It's just amazing. Just great show. There's quite a lot of velocity there as well.
Oh yeah, they're running backwards while playing that stuff. Look how clean that is.
It's clean both visually and musically as well. They're really far from the front ensemble there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, from a visual cleanliness perspective, I mean, when you're wearing cream or white from top to bottom, man, you've got to be good.
And a plume sticking up, so you can see like this kind of stuff going on.
And that uniform shows off all sins.
Yep. So good, man.
Nice, Altos.
Yeah, nice catch in the rifles, too.
Again, look at the velocity there.
Wow.
The guard was fire that year.
Yeah, they're really good, man. Nice. Wow, they're so good. They're so good. What's one thing you don't see? Backdrops.
Yeah, props.
Sometimes they can help.
I mean, this show I don't think needed it. I mean, the visual element was the core.
Yeah. Yeah, visually they're super clean. And then playing while they're doing some of the stuff they're doing is just crazy. Listen to the snares, man.
I like the tuning on the snares as well.
Yeah. It's very light. It's not like heavy.
They don't have them cranked down like they sound like two pieces of wood being slapped together.
Yeah, it's very crisp and clean. And I'm not a drummer. Wait, how many tubas do they have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 16. Wow. Very cool.
The thing is, everybody says Blue Devils for jazz, but you know what, man? Nobody plays swing like the Cadets or the Garfield Cadets or whatever. That East Coast swing, man, these guys lay it down. Another one I could think of is, I think it's 2002, Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, when they did that.
Yeah. Well, West Side Story, 94, West Side 84.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's some swing, man. And they've done it a couple other years, too. Like when they just play like a jazz piece. I think in 21 they did, too, when they did the... No, did they?
Well, they did Prelude, Fugue, and Riffs one year as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Do you know the other thing I think works well with this show as well, though, is with the Cadets uniform, is that whole toy soldier imagery as well, you know?
Yeah. That's probably why they wore the plumes. Listen to that tone quality. And the tuning, man, the brass tuning is on point because they're perfectly in tune with the pit.
I like the timpani ringing out over everything as well. How tall is she?
I know, she's really tall. I was just thinking that actually. I'm like, oh my gosh.
She go from the Cadets to the WNBA, I mean. Always love when they show close-ups of the Cadets guard in moments like this. They just emote so well.
Yeah, you can see it on their face and expression.
I bet George Zingali would have loved writing this show, you know.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh. says the audio is not available, but it's on. Interesting.
Some really high demand visually in this show. Love it.
The dissolving company front.
Yep.
.25.
The result there was beautiful.
Wow. What a treat, and what a treat for the eyes and the ears.
Oh, maybe not the last bit, but
Yeah, well, you know.
the very last bit, not the core, just the certain one I'm clapping on the front.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to pull up the scores from this year because I wanted to see how they scored. So this might be a cut. So.
I've got it. So looking at the recaps, I gotta be honest, I'm a bit perplexed looking at these recaps. So we were in general effect, visual, we were 5th. Music, 4th. Color guard was 5th. So overall visual proficiency, or overall visual was 5th. Overall music was 3rd. For a total of 95.05. Next up, above them was Phantom Regiment at a 96.55, and of course, like most years, Blue Devils won it all with a 98.7. Do I think this was a winning show? Probably not. Do I think it should have been 4th? Absolutely not. But I also think that perhaps, I think that one of the things with that show is, as I alluded to throughout our commentary, is that they were very, very, very exposed visually. You know,
yeah.
And I think that if you're going to come out wearing all white like that, and not only that, but spreading the entire field. I mean, there's parts of that show where they were nearly 100 yards wide. You know, the tiniest little mistakes will stand out, and so from that perspective, I can almost get the fifth in visual effect, you know. But yeah, guard in 5th, I didn't quite get that. So, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I think part of it was their Achilles heel, and their best thing was their clean look. There wasn't a lot of color, you know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of color pop, except from the guard in certain places, and I think that's probably why. And like you said, they were super exposed, so you could see they had a lot of straight lines, a lot of room for error, a lot of, like you said, very exposed. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of different when you watch their show.
Not just as a group, but also individually exposed as well.
Yeah,
you know, especially if you think about when you're spread out over 100 yards. You know, the visual guys, even up in the box, you could key in on one or two people, and if somebody's slightly off on an interval or slightly off on body position or posture, with what they were wearing, it's just going to show. It just broadcasts it. You know. Again, though, I don't quite know what they were looking at.
But I mean, let's look at Blue Devil's score. Perfect 20 in GE.
Bollocks.
And then they got a perfect in visual. I mean, how do
you get it? I want to know how you justify a perfect 20. What you've done is you've ranked and rated is what you've done. Because you're telling me that there's nothing else they could have done in that show. Absolute codswallop.
Yeah. I mean, and they've scored the most 20s. Throughout the decades. I mean, they've scored 20s in visual consistently in in this round.
I'm a huge Blue Devils fan, but I don't think that any 20 the Blue Devils have ever received, or any perfect score that the Blue Devils have ever received, has been deserved. Because our activity, we judge in a subjective manner. How can you say what is perfect?
All right. Well, another fantastic episode, as always. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We had I was looking at our viewership for our last podcast, and it was a little bit lower than our previous. So I think maybe people are starting to kind of get on vacation or whatever. But if you wouldn't mind sharing, please share this video with those that you know like drum corps and like this kind of stuff. We'd appreciate that. And we are also looking into putting this podcast into an audio format.
Into a podcast format, go figure.
Yeah, but we are looking at putting it into different streaming services. Currently, we have 6 episodes. That was kind of my goal, was to get to the 6th episode before we did that. And then I also have 4 additional episodes from previous interviews that I'm also going to be putting onto the podcast. So we'd have a total of 10. But I wanted to get at least that going, so then we could actually catch up with this one, because otherwise we'd be kind of trying to keep up week to week to week.
And I think I speak for Justin here when I say I think we both really enjoy doing this podcast, and we're going to keep doing it whether you watch it or not. We just like it if you watched it and shared it. So
yeah, we'd appreciate that so much. And I will be, like I said, I'm going to be doing my series on how to write drill. I'm going to be taking that series from beginning to end. I'm actually going to be recording it over the Christmas break for me, because I actually have a week off. I'm going to record it then. I'm also going to be recording, I have had an entire show in my brain for the last 20 years that I'm going to actually start putting down. So I'm going to probably be recording that process. You won't see it until the pieces are completed. It is a suite of music that I'm going to be writing out of my brain. I'm not a composer. I don't have perfect pitch, so I have to pluck the melodies out of my head and put everything together. But I know how it sounds. I don't. That's kind of weird. I can hear it in my head. I just got to get it out of my head onto the paper, and then. But you guys will probably be seeing that process sometime. So.
Justin, I love you, man. I really do. But I also sat next to you in the horn line, so I can attest to the fact that he doesn't have perfect pitch.
Yeah, but man, if someone said play an A flat, I'd play an A flat. Play an F sharp, I play an F sharp. Play this, I can play it.
Yeah, but the fingerings might not have been an F sharp, but somehow you played an F sharp.
I always played an F sharp. I had really good bending pitch. I could bend pitches like nobody's business. And you had to on our horns. Our horns were.
Now, truthfully, Justin was an absolute stud of a player back in the day.
Yeah,
probably still is.
I can't play anymore. I haven't played in a decade really, but I could probably pick up the horn and play through it. You know,
do what I did. Just to protect. You fake it till you make it, and change instruments. Go to tuba.
No, I'm not ever going to march tuba. Sorry, that's where I draw the line. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We
thank you very much again.
And I hope you guys have a great holiday season. We're going to have one more episode next week, and then we're going to be taking a break for, I think, let's take 2 weeks off just to kind of get our bearings, and then we will be back. And then maybe during that time, you actually have the podcast up on a streaming service. So we're going to kind of see how that works.
And we should start getting some genuine news stuff as well, both from the drum corps side of things, and also Winter Guard's going to really start ramping up by then as well. Winter Percussion's going to start ramping up then as well. So make sure you like and subscribe. It's somewhere here.
Yep.
Ring the bell. comment, share with your friends, share with your enemies, send it to your tax man. I don't care.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Be sure to
bye-bye.
March on.
March or die.